Why, oh why, are we giving undocumented or illegal immigrants money? Why are we telling the entire world, if you want free money, come into the United States, let's just tank our economy even more? I mean, we just spent $3 trillion. Let's do another 125 million. And on top of that, let's do another 500 million. Let's do another 500 million. Where does it end? Where do we say, look, the United States cannot support the world? We can't do it, especially now. California's Governor Newsom reveals a $125 million plan to give $500 checks to undocumented immigrants in the state to help them cope during COVID-19 crisis. Now, another thing that gets me is this right here. Immigrants will be offered $5,000 apiece as part of a disaster relief fund. What? $5,000? Oh, okay. Okay, what? Governor Gavin Newsom has announced a $125 million grant for California's illegal immigrants who are hurt by coronavirus. Yes, let's just support the entire world. Screw the American citizens. Screw the fact that we're going to need this money for us, and let's just give it away. How about this? How about we have the federal government just come by, grab every single dollar, every single paper dollar, every single piece of change, grab everybody's bank account, put it in a big old pool, and we'll just evenly spread it across the world evenly. And then when we're flat fucking broke and we have no cash whatsoever, then people like Newsom can be like, well, we can't give money to undocumented immigrants because we just don't frickin' have it. California will be the first state to give cash to immigrants living in the country illegally as a stimulus check amid the pandemic, offering $500 apiece to 150,000 adults who were left out of the $2.2 trillion stimulus package approved by Congress. They were left out because they are not United States citizens. There should be advantages to being a United States citizen. That's part of one of the joys of being a citizen, are the freedoms and the things that we enjoy, or at least the freedoms that we used to enjoy. Who knows what freedoms we're going to walk out of this intact with. But we cannot afford, especially now, to be just giving money away willy-nilly to people. You're undocumented, you're here illegally, you don't deserve the money. You are here illegally. Okay? And I've heard the caveats. They are people here trying to create a better life for their family. I hear ya. I'm trying to create a better life for me as well. We're all trying to create a better life for us and our families. All of us are. But how are you going to create a better life for your family when you're starting off by breaking the law and being here illegally? You want to come in, you get vetted, and you come in legally. You take the proper routes. If you don't get in, I'm sorry. I'm going to grow a tough skin on this, tough cookies. Okay? You try again. But you do not come in here illegally, and then just because you're here illegally, you get money. That's absurd. That's absurd. No country in the world does that. We're the only idiot country in the world that's saying, hey, you want money? Sneak across the border and we'll just give you money. We'll just give it to you. Just give you money. Many Americans began receiving $1,200 checks from the federal government this week, and others who are unemployed are getting an additional $600 a week from the government that has ordered them to stay home and disrupted what had been a roaring economy. Yeah, 11 years of uptick on the economy, 11 years worth of unprecedented advancements on the economy, just wiped out in a matter of a couple months. And on top of that, now we're going to give money to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. It doesn't matter, United States citizen or not. Everybody gets money. Everybody gets the money. Okay. But people living in the country illegally are not eligible for any of that money, and they shouldn't be eligible for that money. Are we going to go to Mexico and give every Mexican citizen money? Are we going to go to Canada and give every Canadian citizen money? No, we're not. Because they are not United States citizens. So what are we doing? Why are we giving non-citizens money? We can't afford that right now. We can't do it. And advocates have been pushing for states to fill the gap. Why? Why? Why is it our responsibility? They are here illegally. If we're not going to give money to Mexico because they are not United States citizens, and neither are the people who are here illegally. So if we're not going to give money to Mexico and we're not going to give money to Canada, then how is it that we're going to give money to illegals here? They're not citizens. Democrat Newsom announced he would spend $75 million of taxpayer money to create a disaster relief fund for immigrants living in the country illegally. We feel a deep sense of gratitude for people that are in fear of deportations that are still addressing essential needs. So deport them. They're here illegally. Illegally. And I know people say, well, separation of family. Okay. If I had a wife and the 2.5 kids and a dog and I broke the law, guess what? I'm getting separated from my family. So what are we saying now? Every single inmate? Because remember, equality. Equality says that what you do for one, you must do for all. So are we seriously saying that now, anytime anybody gets arrested here in the United States, no matter what the charge, their family has to go to jail with them? So that way they're not being separated? It's a stupid left-wing talking point. They're being separated from their families. Yeah, anybody who breaks the law and goes to jail is being separated from their families. Oh, but you don't care about United States citizens. You only care about people who are not citizens. Because, United States citizens are, what? Garbage. The lowest of the low. Fuck the United States citizens. Let's give money to everybody else. Let's put everybody else's needs first. You came here illegally, you broke the law, you got separated from your family. That's the fucking consequences. You knew the consequences when you took that risk. A bank robber knows the consequences when he robs that bank. It's common sense. Newsom, who noted 10% of the state's workforce are immigrants living in the country illegally who paid more than $2.5 billion in state and local taxes last year, but not federal taxes. They didn't pay federal taxes. And if they paid taxes, then it means that they've got an ITIN number or a Social Security number. If they have an ITIN number or a Social Security number and they've paid their taxes, that means they're documented. They are not undocumented. Senate Republican leader Shannon Grove said Newsom should spend the money instead of on... What? Senate Republican leader Shannon Grove said Newsom should spend the money instead on food banks. There we go. Equipment for students to continue their education online and local governments struggling with revenue loss. Yeah. That's what he should spend it on. Education would be a freaking great one. Instead of meeting these urgent needs, I mean, good Lord, we're spending more on illegal immigrants than we are on our education of our children, our future. We're spending more money on illegal immigrants than on our own children. Instead of meeting these urgent needs, Governor Newsom has chosen to irresponsibly pursue a left-wing path and unilaterally secure $125 million for undocumented immigrants, said Grove, who represents Bakersfield. California has got 2.2 million immigrants living in the country illegally, the most of any state, according to the Pew Research Center. State officials won't decide who gets the money. Instead, the state will give the money to a network of regional nonprofits to find and vet potential recipients. Yeah, because that's always works out right. You take the money, you give it to someone else, they give it to someone else, they give it to someone else, you lose track of it, and then you have no idea who got the money, where, when, and how. Yeah, because, history has shown us that doing it that way, the government giving it to someone else, does not work well. 5 years from now, we're going to find illegal immigrants saying, well, we didn't get our money. It's going to happen. State official advocates say that's key to making the plan work because immigrants are unlikely to contact the government for fear of deportation. That is a lot of money and a lot of trust that you're putting into these non-profit corporations. I don't know if you'd call them a non-profit corporation. A lot of trust putting into these non-profits. How's that? You need to use organizations that have trusted relationships with these families, said Jacqueline Martinez, CEO of the Latino Community Foundation. A group of charities has committed to raising another $50 million for the fund from private donors, potentially offering benefits to another 100,000 people. But that money will have fewer limitations, meaning grants could be more than $500 or less, depending on the cost of living where a person lives. How about we focus on ourselves for a change? We're in a sinking ship, and we're trying to help another sinking ship over there, but we're ignoring our own. We're not getting our own people onto lifeboats, and we're worried about getting them and saving them first. Come on now. Organizers began raising money on Friday and have raised more than $6 million so far with contributions from the Emerson Collective, Blue Shield of California Foundation, the California Endowment, the James Irvine Foundation, the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, and an anonymous donor. We want this to be as equitable as possible and benefits as many people as possible. So then let's just open the border. And rather than Mexicans having to cross the border, let's just send our money straight to Mexico and save them the time and effort. That way they don't even have to travel here. They don't even have to make the trip. We'll just send the money to Mexico. We'll make sure that every Mexican gets paid first. And then we will make sure that Americans get paid. How's that? Will that satisfy you? Would that make you happy? Let's just, in fact, you know what? Let's send everything we've got to Mexico, and let's just call the United States Mexico. How's that? We want this to be as equitable as possible and fit as many people as possible, said Dan Deraney Petsad, president of Grant Makers Concerned with Immigrants and Refugees. How about you get concerned with Americans, because we really need that concern right now. California has been the most aggressive state in the nation when it comes to giving benefits to immigrants living in the country illegally. Last year, California became the first state to give taxpayer-funded health benefits to low-income adults. And this is why everything in California is so damn expensive. You ever think about that? 25 and younger, giving taxpayer-funded health benefits to low-income adults 25 and younger living in the country illegally. This year, Newsom had proposed expanding those benefits to seniors 65 and older. Yes, it's just support the world. Let's just support the world. And I know people are yelling at me right now, being like, you heartless son of a bitch. No, it's just the opposite. It's just the opposite. I care, okay? But here's the thing. We cannot afford to pay the world. We can't do it. We just can't do it. How about for just once, we look after our own skins for a change? And then once our own backyard is clean, then we can look over the fence and tell our neighbor how to clean their backyard. But in the meantime, we're standing on a pile of trash in our own yard to be able to look over the fence at our neighbor's yard and tell them how to clean their yard. Our fucking yard's dirty. Let's clean our own yard first. The spending announced Wednesday means Newsom has committed to spending more than $2 billion responding to the coronavirus, an extraordinary amount in just over 1 month. Thursday, state lawmakers are scheduled to have their first oversight hearing of Newsom's spending. For most people, the new coronavirus causes mild or moderate symptoms such as fever and cough that clear up in 2 to 3 weeks. For some, especially older adults and people with pre-existing health problems, it can cause more severe illness, including pneumonia and death. And not quite true. They have found now that there are also some things that happen with the brain, and even people who have mild or moderate symptoms, it causes damage to their lungs, which will affect them when they get older, or should they get reinfected with COVID-19. Why can't we spend our money on ourselves for a change? You're here illegally. That right there should say, look, you're here illegally. You don't deserve this stuff. There are people who I know for a fact, personally, I live in New Mexico. We've got a lot of illegals here too, okay? I know personally some people who are in Mexico who want to cross over. And they could easily do it illegally, but you know what? They are doing the right thing and going through the right channels. So why do the people who get to cut in front of the line and do it illegally and get ahead of those who are taking the proper steps to get into the United States properly, to get vetted, to, we don't want everybody in, because not everybody in the world is good. There are bad people in the world. We want to know who's in our country. We want to know what they're doing here. We want to. You wouldn't open your front door and leave it open and advertise to the world. Anybody who wants no checks can come sleep here. No, you want to know who's sleeping in your home. You want to vet them. And why are we telling those people who are standing in line and waiting and doing the right thing and going through the right channels to come into the United States, to be a United States citizen, why are we telling them that they're pieces of shit and that these people crossing the border illegally get the advantages that they are trying to go through the proper channels to get? Why is that okay? Why is that okay? Anyways, I know this is going to be a very contentious video, and I accept that. But it's facts. It's facts. I love you guys. You guys stay informed, and feel free to comment. The only bad comment is a comment that isn't commented. People on this channel are not going to lambast anybody or personally attack anybody. Anybody that does is not representative of this channel. On this channel, we encourage people to hear dissenting opinions. And we encourage people, hey, if you think you have proof, someone out there can give me proof that we should be giving these people checks if they're here illegally, let me know. Comment, like, share, subscribe. I love you guys. You guys stay informed, and I'll see you on the next one.